Okay, today we're talking about getting naked. And no, not that kind of naked. Although honestly, emotional nakedness is far more confronting than physical nakedness anyway. This episode has been a long time coming because so many of you are in my world, listening to this podcast, reading things I write, maybe doing one or more of my programs. But I've never actually sat down and said, here's why I created the Getting Naked School. Here's how it works. And here's who it's really for. And I want to say this up front. The entire reason I built this school was to help you not need me. Today on I Love Me, the podcast, I'm sharing my personal experience with seeking help and why I wanted to create teachings and programs that help you become self-sufficient in your own healing journey. Because when you have tools and practices combined with an inner belief system of confidence and trust, navigating life becomes a wondrous experience where you feel supported, fulfilled, and totally alive.
Love, 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 I love me.
Simple, inspiring lessons in self-love. Hello, gorgeous. It's Tamara here. Let's begin with why I created Getting Naked. I created this school because I got tired, not of healing, not of growth, but of dependency. For years, I spent a lot of time and a lot of money learning from other people. If I felt sick, I booked in acupuncture. If my body was out of alignment or in pain, chiropractor. If I felt depressed or lost or confused, psychologist, coach, counselor. And with full integrity, I am deeply grateful for those people. They taught me so much, often at times where I truly needed their support. Because absolutely we need teachers, we need guidance, or maybe just a mirror. But at some point, I started noticing something. Every time something went wrong, I outsourced my power. I had knowledge, but I didn't yet have sovereignty. I lacked the self-belief that I could support myself the way they supported me. And I didn't agree with the subtle and sometimes not so subtle model in the healing industry that keeps people reliant on ongoing services forever. It started to feel like this. Come back next week. Book another session. You'll need this medication or these sessions forever. Everyone needs a coach to move the needle. Something inside me said, no. Healing should lead to independence. Growth should lead to self-trust. Guidance should eventually lead to inner authority. So I began learning differently. When I felt sick, instead of immediately booking acupuncture, I asked, what meridian is out of balance? What point can I work with? When my ankle or knee or rib started to ache or hurt, instead of rushing to the chiro, I asked, what yoga posture, what release technique could I use? What does my body really need right now? When I felt low or confused or emotionally tangled, instead of reaching for someone else's advice, I sat with myself in silence and asked my true self for guidance. If there was a goal I really wanted to achieve, I'd apply the self-love formula I teach in the Remarkable Relationships program so I could ensure I was covering all bases in allowing that new reality into my life. And slowly, something shifted. I gradually became my own healer. Not in an ego-y way, not in a I never need support kind of way, but in a grounded, capable, deeply resourced way. And I thought, why were we never taught this at school? Why were we never taught life skills? All the things we need to know and do so life doesn't seem so scary or so challenging. So I considered all the things that had supported me in my journey to self-sufficiency. Practices and teachings I'd learnt from others, discoveries I'd made through deep inquiry and my own personal experience. And I created the Getting Naked School. Not a school in the traditional sense, but a school that teaches you the necessary skills for living a healthy, abundant, and joyful life. One where you have the skills and practices to support you in traveling through the tough times and challenges that life is so good at using to propel us into a more aligned version of ourselves. But most importantly, I wanted this school to teach you how to become self-sufficient in your own healing journey so you can live the life you want to live in your own authentic way. Not constantly manage it, not constantly try and fix it, but actually live it. Every program inside Getting Naked is designed with one core intention: to help you become your own healer so you can live a vibrant, love-rich life. Yes, there are multiple programs, and each one takes you on a journey home to yourself. But here's the thing with the programs I've created. There is no order. There is no ladder. There is no, you must complete this before that. You don't need to do them all if that doesn't feel aligned. You choose the one that calls most to you, the one that fits your current season, your current challenge, your current budget. You work with what you can. Because this isn't about consuming content. It's about building capacity, about gently rewiring how you think and feel about yourself so you can enter into a more kind and loving relationship with yourself where you feel whole and complete just the way you are. Because deep down, that's what all of us truly want and need. We may not be consciously aware of it, but there is a part of us that is craving that feeling of wholeness. Okay, so let's look at how it works, practically speaking. Each course in the Getting Naked School teaches two core things. One, a new way of seeing yourself and your life. Two, practical tools and practices you can apply immediately. For example, instead of always needing someone else to regulate your emotions, you learn how to regulate them. Instead of spiraling when life throws you a curveball, you learn how to navigate stormy waters. Because here's the truth, life will always bring challenges. That's not the problem. The problem is not having the skills to move through them. When you have tools, the storms don't feel catastrophic anymore. They feel workable. And when you understand that life is constantly reflecting to you what needs to grow, shift, or heal, and you know how to work with that, life becomes a whole lot less scary, less stressful. Because you know on a deeper level that everything is happening for you to help you release the ideas, beliefs, and unresolved stuff that is keeping you from experiencing more ease, more peace, and more aliveness. For when life becomes more joy-filled, everything in your life is impacted. Your health, your emotions, your relationships, your career, your finances, because every single program in the Getting Naked School centers around your relationship with you. And when that relationship changes, everything changes. So let's get clear on what this school is not. It's not a funnel. It's not a never-ending subscription trap. It's not you'll always need me. In fact, I say this all the time, I guide you until you can guide yourself. When I finish with a client who I've taken through my 5-month one-on-one intensive, I tell them, sure, you can do a one-off session with me in the future if you need it. But before calling me, give it a go yourself. Go over what you learnt with me. Use the tools you know how to use and see if you can get yourself back on track. Not because I don't want to support you, but because it's more important to me that you develop self-trust. Because when you have self-trust and practical skills you feel confident using, then you don't need me. And this is why when you enroll in one of my programs, you get lifetime access. That way you can revisit the teachings and practices whenever you want. Because here's something important. The material deepens as you deepen. When you revisit a program 5-10 years later, you'll experience it differently because you've changed. You're more open, more aware, more ready. There may be particular teachings that you weren't so interested in back then, and now you are. I personally still use all the teachings in my own programs. And when I go deeper, when I refine something, when I discover something new, something that strengthens the foundation of what I already know to be true, I add it to the existing courses, free of charge. Every program at the Getting Naked School is a living work. They evolve as you evolve. Because growth is layered. We're always getting clearer, loving more, and coming into a more authentic version of ourselves. Because this is a lifelong journey. And once you know the foundational ways to allow this growth to happen naturally, then you don't need to keep working with teacher after teacher, completing course after course, because you have the foundational tools and practices, and most importantly, the connection to your inner voice. For that's what really matters, that you have access to your own inner wise person, what I like to call your true self. So, who is the Getting Naked School for? This school is for the person who is tired of outsourcing their power, is ready to take responsibility for their own healing, wants tools, not just inspiration, wants depth, not just fixes, wants to live a harmonious life with less chaos and more clarity. It's for the person who knows there is more inside them, more wisdom, more strength, more alignment. But maybe you were never taught how to access it. It's not about bypassing doctors or never seeing therapists ever again. It's about not feeling helpless without them. It's about becoming resourced. It's about being able to sit in the middle of your life and say, I trust myself here. I know the next step forward. Most importantly, when you complete my Remarkable Relationships Self-Study program or my one-on-one intensive, you're learning how to go to the root cause of your issues. You're learning how to clean out the beliefs and unresolved emotions that are contributing to your symptoms or challenges. That way, you no longer need to manage those issues. I often talk to people who go to counseling or psychology sessions, and they get given tools that help them calm themselves when they start experiencing anxiety or fear, but they don't get shown how to uproot the anxiety or fear so that it no longer arises in the first place. For when you no longer have the beliefs that support anxiety or depression or certain behaviors or physical symptoms or patterns that keep repeating in your life, they don't keep showing up because you've gone in and made the inner changes to your programming, so they're no longer available to you. It's like you've cleared the hard drive of your subconscious so you can live from a place of self-belief, self-trust, and self-love. At the heart of everything I teach at the Getting Naked School is the support you need to cultivate a healthy relationship with you. And so that's what all my programs do. They guide you home to your true self so you can then let your true self guide you through life. If this sounds like what your heart's been calling for, then take a look at the courses page on my website, gettingnaked.com.au. I'll pop a direct link to the page below. Browse through the courses, and whichever one inspires you, enroll in that one. Because only you know what you're ready for, what you need at this point in time. Once you've completed one course and taken the time to actually embody the teachings and practices, then if you feel called, do another one that jumps out. Let the Getting Naked School hold you until you can hold yourself. Let it support you until you can cultivate the self-trust, self-worth, and self-love to support yourself. Because when that happens, you don't need constant saving. You don't need constant fixing. You become sovereign. And from sovereignty, life becomes not just manageable, but deeply, joyfully, beautifully yours. If this resonates, explore. If it doesn't, that's okay too. Because ultimately the whole point is this: you learning how to listen to you. And that's getting naked. Thanks for listening. If this episode helped you realize actually you can trust yourself on this journey that we call life, I would love if you could leave a short review or rating. And please know that if you do enroll in one of the programs, that a percentage of profits goes to planting trees, so together we can re-robe Mother Earth.
I love me.